Hello, everyone. What would you do if money showed up tomorrow? Like real money. Not a little extra, but enough to change something, enough to solve a problem, enough to make you feel temporarily safe. Would you even know what to do with it? So there's this idea you're getting a windfall of money, but it comes with a warning. And there's so much packed into that statement. There's a promise, a guarantee of something external arriving, and then there's a threat, a warning, a catch, like the money's coming, but you better be careful. But what if none of that is actually what's happening? What if the windfall isn't external money arriving? What if the warning isn't about some cosmic consequence? What if this whole thing is about something else entirely? My stomach just tightened reading that. Wait, let me sit with this differently. There can be this state people get into with money where they're waiting for it to arrive, waiting for the windfall, the inheritance, the lottery win, the unexpected check, the raise, the promotion, something external that's going to change their financial reality. And in that waiting, in that hoping for external rescue, they're not dealing with their actual relationship with money. They're not looking at their patterns, their beliefs, their behaviors, the way they've been trained to think about scarcity and abundance and worth. Does that feel familiar? That pattern of hoping money will arrive instead of examining why it leaves? Because the windfall thing, it's a fantasy, a really seductive fantasy that your problems, your stress, your lack, it's all just about not having enough money. And if money showed up, if you got that windfall, everything would be solved. You'd be safe. You'd be okay. You'd be free. But would you? My hands are actually cold right now, like the blood drained out of them. So let me ask you something. If money showed up tomorrow, a real amount, enough to matter, would you know how to keep it? Would you know how to manage it? Would you know how to not let it slip through your fingers the way money has before? Or would the same patterns that created your current financial situation, would those patterns still be there? Still operating? Still running the show even with more money in the account? Because here's what I'm noticing. Money doesn't fix money problems. Money problems are usually behavior problems, belief problems, pattern problems. And if those aren't addressed, if those aren't healed, more money just means more money to lose, more money to mismanage, more money to create bigger versions of the same problems. Wait, I need to say that more carefully. I'm not saying you have money problems. I'm describing something that can happen to people where they think their issue is lack of money, when really it's their relationship with money, their understanding of it, their patterns around it. Have you noticed that? How the same financial situations keep repeating even when the amount changes? Tell me in the comments if this resonates. My throat feels really tight right now, like I need to cough. So, the warning part. It comes with a warning. And in the title, that sounds ominous. Like the universe is going to give you money, but there's a catch, a price, a consequence, something bad attached to the good. But what if the warning isn't external? What if the warning is just awareness? Awareness that money amplifies who you already are. If you're responsible, more money makes you more responsible. If you're reckless, more money makes you more reckless. If you're generous, more money makes you more generous. If you're fearful, more money makes you more fearful. So the warning might be, look at who you are right now. Look at your patterns. Look at your relationship with resources. Because if money shows up, if abundance arrives in any form, those patterns are going to get louder, more visible, more consequential. And that can be uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, to realize that the problem isn't just lack of money. The problem might be you, your beliefs, your behaviors, your training. My jaw just clenched so hard I can feel it in my temples. Wait, let me sit with the windfall concept more carefully. A windfall is unexpected, unearned in some way. Not payment for work, just arrival. Luck, fortune, something falling into your lap. And there's something about windfalls that can be dangerous. Not the money itself, but the mentality around it. Because if money arrives without effort, without exchange, without value creation, you might not respect it the same way. You might not manage it the same way. You might treat it like it's free, like it doesn't count, like you can be reckless with it because you didn't work for it. And then it leaves and you're back where you started, or worse, because now you've tasted having more and losing it feels even more painful than not having it in the first place. Does that make sense to you? That pattern of getting something and then losing it because you didn't earn it in a way that taught you how to keep it. So there's this thing about money, about resources, about abundance. It's not just about having it. It's about having the capacity to hold it, to manage it, to steward it, to use it wisely. And that capacity, it's built, it's developed, it's earned through practice and mistakes and learning. It doesn't just appear because money appears. My shoulders are so tense right now, I can feel them creeping toward my ears. So when the title says you're getting a windfall of money, maybe you are. Maybe something's coming, or maybe you're not. Maybe that's just a hook, a promise to get you to pay attention. But either way, whether money's coming or not, the real question is, are you ready for it? Do you have the internal capacity to hold it? Do you understand your relationship with it well enough to not sabotage it when it arrives? Because you might notice this pattern where things show up and then disappear, where opportunities arrive and then slip away, where money comes in and then flows right back out, and you think it's bad luck or timing or external circumstances. But what if it's you? What if it's your patterns? What if it's the way you relate to abundance that keeps creating scarcity? What if the problem isn't that money's not coming? It's that you're not keeping it when it does? Wait, I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm describing something that can happen, a pattern that exists in human behavior around resources. Have you noticed that in yourself? That pattern of getting and losing? Of receiving and then sabotaging? Tell me in the comments. My chest feels so tight right now, like there's a weight on it. So the warning that comes with the money, if we're taking this seriously, if we're sitting with it honestly, the warning might be this. Money will expose you. It will reveal your patterns. It will amplify your relationship with scarcity and abundance. It will show you whether you actually believe you deserve it, whether you know how to keep it, whether you have the internal capacity to hold more than you currently have. And that exposure, that revealing, it can be brutal because you might see things about yourself you don't want to see. You might notice patterns you've been avoiding. You might realize that your financial situation is a reflection of your internal state and not just a result of external circumstances. And sitting with that, sitting with the possibility that you're part of the problem, that's hard, really hard. It's easier to blame the system, the economy, your job, your situation, anything external. But what if the real work isn't waiting for money to arrive? What if the real work is examining your relationship with it, healing your beliefs about it, changing your patterns around it, building the internal capacity to hold more before more arrives? My hands just stopped shaking and I didn't realize they were shaking. So let me come back to the windfall idea. There's this concept in personal finance about lottery winners, how most of them end up broke within a few years, how the money destroys relationships, creates problems, makes life worse instead of better. And people hear that and think, wow, that's tragic, that's unlucky, that's sad. But what if it's predictable? What if it's inevitable when someone who doesn't have the capacity to hold wealth suddenly gets wealth? When someone who hasn't done the internal work suddenly has external resources? The money doesn't change them, it reveals them. It amplifies what's already there. The fear, the scarcity thinking, the poor boundaries, the inability to say no, the need to prove something, the belief that they don't deserve it. And all of that, all those patterns, they make the money disappear. Not because of bad luck, but because of bad programming, internal programming that hasn't been updated, that's still running on scarcity even when abundance shows up. Does that land for you? That idea that your internal programming might be running the show regardless of external circumstances? Wait, let me sit with the warning aspect more carefully, because warnings are supposed to protect you, to alert you to danger, to help you avoid something bad. So what's the danger here? What's the warning protecting you from? If we're being honest, if we're sitting with this seriously, the danger might be that you get money and lose yourself, that you get abundance and it reveals how unprepared you are for it, that you get what you think you want and realize you don't know what to do with it. My jaw just unclenched and I need to consciously keep it relaxed, because there's this assumption that more money equals more happiness, more security, more freedom. But that's not always true. Sometimes more money equals more stress, more responsibility, more people wanting something from you, more decisions to make, more ways to mess up. And if you haven't built the capacity to handle that, if you haven't done the internal work of understanding your relationship with resources, the money can become a burden, a problem, a source of anxiety instead of relief. So the warning might be, don't just wish for money. Build the capacity to hold it. Don't just wait for abundance. Develop the internal stability to steward it. Don't just hope for a windfall. Do the work of becoming someone who can keep it when it arrives. And that work, that internal development, it's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's not a windfall. It's slow. It's boring. It's looking at your patterns and changing them. It's healing your beliefs and updating them. It's practicing discipline when you don't have much, so you know how to practice it when you have more. So I guess what I'm sitting with is the title, Promises Money and Threatens Consequences. But the real situation might be different. The real situation might be that money is neutral. It's just a resource. And what matters is your relationship with it, your capacity to hold it, your programming around it. And if that programming is broken, if that capacity is low, if that relationship is unhealthy, more money won't fix it. More money will just make it worse. Will just amplify the dysfunction. Will just create bigger versions of the same problems. My shoulders just dropped and I didn't realize they were tense. So when you're hoping for a windfall, when you're waiting for money to arrive, you might ask yourself, am I ready for it? Do I have the internal capacity? Have I examined my patterns? Do I understand my relationship with resources? Because if the answer is no, if you haven't done that work, the windfall might be the worst thing that could happen. Not because money is bad, but because you're not ready for it. You don't know how to hold it. You haven't built the container strong enough to keep it. And then it arrives and leaves, and you're left worse off than before, more disappointed, more cynical, more convinced that abundance isn't for you, when really the abundance was there. You just didn't have the capacity to keep it. Wait, I need to say that more carefully. I'm not saying you don't have capacity. I'm describing something that can happen to people who receive resources before they're ready to manage them. Have you seen that pattern? in yourself or others, where getting something actually made things worse because the readiness wasn't there? Tell me in the comments. My throat is so dry right now, I need water. So the warning that comes with the windfall, if I'm being really honest, if I'm sitting with what might actually be true, the warning is this: money will reveal you. It will show you your patterns. It will expose your programming. It will test your capacity. It will amplify everything you already are. And if what you already are, if your patterns, your beliefs, your behaviors around resources, if those are dysfunctional, the money will make that dysfunction bigger, louder, more consequential. So the work isn't waiting for money. The work is becoming someone who can hold money, building the internal capacity, healing the beliefs, changing the patterns, developing the discipline and wisdom and boundaries that money requires. And that work, that internal development, you can do it now, right now, with whatever you have. You don't need the windfall to practice. You don't need abundance to build capacity. You can do it with scarcity, with lack, with whatever's in front of you right now. Because the person who can manage a little well is the same person who can manage a lot well. The patterns are the same, the capacity is the same, the relationship is the same, just the numbers are different. Does that make sense to you? I don't know if money's coming for you. I don't know if a windfall is on its way, but I do know that if it arrives and you haven't done the internal work, it might not help. It might hurt. It might reveal things you're not ready to see. It might expose patterns you're not ready to change. So maybe the real windfall isn't money arriving. Maybe the real windfall is awareness arriving. Clarity about your patterns, understanding of your relationship with resources, recognition that the problem isn't just lack, but also capacity. And from that awareness, from that clarity, you can build something, not wait for something. You can develop the internal capacity that makes you ready for external abundance whenever and however it shows up. Does that land for you? I don't sell futures. I build architects. No predictions, just the raw truth for the tough ones. Stay magic. Stay in the now.